Huge breaking news out of the Montreal Canadiens. Michel Therrien has been fired. Claude Julien is the new head coach of the Montreal Canadiens. Wow. Something we talked about yesterday on this program.
That's right.
We said, why wouldn't the Canadiens make a move and get Claude Julien back? He is in his second stint as the head coach of the Canadiens. Michel Therrien is out. Montreal Canadiens have lost 6 of their last 7 games. Last played, ironically, against Boston on Sunday, lost 4-0. There was all the smoke going back to last year, the way it ended for the Canadiens and Michel Therrien. Claude Julien is back in Montreal to take over behind the bench for the Habs. EJ, what do you think?
Well, it's surprising for a number of reasons. First of all, the Boston Bruins would have had to give him permission for Claude Julien to go, and they would be willing. I mean, they were probably happy in the end not to have to pay him, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. That was more important to them.
I'm going to guess, without being privy to the conversation, maybe they just felt out of respect towards him, having been there for 10 years, all-time winningest coach. Led him to a cup, et cetera, and maybe the fact that they don't have to pay his $3 million salary next year. But, oh, my God. I mean, I am, like, awesomely floored. I mean, this is fantastic for Claude Julien I've known for years now. Wonderful for him. What this does to that the battle between the Bruins and the Canadiens, too, is spectacular. It takes it to the quadruple nth degree, EJ. This is like, you don't script this stuff. You really you don't.
Obviously.
I thought that if Claude Julien were to end up there next year, Mearsy, that would be hit by Kirk Muller. I thought would take over this season. It played out, but coaching move.
We may need the chairs. This is a standing
I'm looking to see.
They're not going to play
They
again.
don't play again the regular season. Their season series is over. I mean, we know that Marc Bergevin feels very strongly about having a bilingual head coach, someone who's a francophone that could speak French there. He went out and had Michel Therrien. He was tied to Michel Therrien last year because there was a lot of calls for Marc Bergevin to fire Michel Therrien last year, but with the injuries to Carey Price, the team capsized. I was among those who believed that it was more than just Carey Price being injured. That was a huge part of it, but I felt that, the team kind of quit on the coach. This year they got off to the great start. Everybody looks like they're smarter than can be there, and then it's been a real struggle. And Carey Price has just not played all that well. We showed the statistics yesterday. Over the last little while, the numbers are really down for where we expect Carey Price to be. So, we talked about it before with the Flames, right? When the goalie's playing well, everybody's smarter, everybody's better. When the goalie is struggling, even in this case where a team that really relies on Carey Price, when he's struggling, all of a sudden everybody's in danger, and you saw what happened. Marc Bergevin has probably been rattling around looking to make a trade, hasn't been able to make one, and so what he can do here, which is to change the coach.
It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing to think how the personality of this team could change pretty significantly with Claude Julien behind the bench. Now, he started to alter his way of thinking, too, to increase pace. Last year a bit, but this year a lot more. Not as much as we're seeing under Bruce Cassidy, but a lot more in the sense that D were allowed to pinch a ton more. They were able to get involved. He changed some other things around the power play, allowed Bruce Cassidy, when they brought him up to be his assistant coach, to tweak some things there too. So I wonder, he's still got some guys that can bring it offensively, but he's going to want to try and really get that structure back to make Carey Price more comfortable, perhaps, and get him back to that level. Right. Take that pressure. What's going to be interesting, though, and what's going to be hard, we can't do a breakdown right now. We don't have it built or anything, but to see if he can implement, Mearsy, his defensive style, which is more of a D zone / man-to-man / zone, where D aren't chasing up man-to-man. They're coming from the half wall or from the hash mark. They're coming back to the middle of the ice, protecting the house. Backside plays are always recovered there, or at least that's the attempt. Can he implement that in season with 5 games or so? That's going to be interesting. But he brings presence, he brings respect, and this is just, when I say it's glorious, what I mean is this is huge.
Well,
all of a sudden, this is like Bruce Boudreau 2 years.
It's one of the biggest rivalries, too, that we have in our game.
Right.
And to think that one coach would jump from one side to the other in a matter of a week.
The other one giving permission.
Exactly.
And the Bruins, I think a lot of it had to do as well. I know money is involved. I think a lot of it had to do with respect, where they said, you know what? He is not our coach. He's not going to be our coach. Let's not sugarcoat it. We relieved him of his duties. Now let's allow him to go on with his coaching career.
I would just say two other things here. First of all, if he continues his coaching career and the Canadiens go on a nice roll and eliminate the Boston Bruins,
oh boy,
the fans in Boston won't forget that that they let him go and now he's in Montreal. So that's one thing to consider. The other thing, just going back to Michel Therrien, you know, he's had his ups and downs as a coach in the National Hockey League. He coached with Pittsburgh, got them to a Cup final. The next year, he's relieved of his duties. Dan Bilesman goes in and they win the Cup. He went back. He's coached at Montreal for a couple of years now, and he's done a nice job there. But from inside that group, something that I didn't understand about Michel Therrien is when you see Michel Therrien, you think he's this kind of taskmaster because he has that kind of presence.
Yeah.
But apparently,
he's
not so much. Yeah. Not so much. And so that the feeling is that they need a little bit more of that presence behind the bench, somebody who is going to take charge a little bit more on the night-to-night, day-to-day basis. So maybe that plays a part in it too. But very, very interesting move from Marc Bergevin, and pretty clearly couldn't make a trade. So now he does this to shake up his team. We'll see if it works.